You're crazy. Am I? Yes. Am I? Yes. Am I?
Black Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter. Confused? Well, for some of you, I don't think you are. But for those who are, I just wanted to do this quick video just to kind of explain what I consider the difference to be, right? Because everyone just thinks that Black Lives Matter is just a thing for, not just for black people, but they think that all what's happened, yeah, from the protesting and the violence and the bringing down the statues and all of those things there, right, as well as the good points as in like people, some authorities trying to think about how to reform themselves and people trying to empathize and so forth and so on, yeah. All of this, right, is the mindset or the, what can I say, is how black people think. All black people think the same way, right? And Black Lives Matter is the representative or the representation of the mindset of all black people, yeah? And this is not true, right? For me, the essence of Black Lives Matter, right, stems from or comes from what I would say the deployment of punishment, right, and the injustice of how black people are treated in comparison to their white counterparts when it comes to whether it's a minor infraction or a major infraction, yeah. The way that we are treated, the way that we are dealt with, yeah, compared to white counterparts, yeah, is unnerving. Let's put it, I'm being polite here.
As everybody talking, this is out in Seattle. A police officer can be seen punching a young woman right in the face. Happened when the officer tried to question teens for jaywalking.
You may not tell me when to take my child. You may shut the up and not tell me when I may take my kid.
Not only that, it's also about how authority, white authority, and this is mainly more for America, but it's here as well in UK and about in Europe and other places. It's also about how the unwritten law of I am white and I say so, yeah, has the ability that if a white person in authority commits an atrocity, yeah, they can, I won't say get away with it, but they can get away very lightly for committing it. So, for example, you know, Amber Geiger, you know what I mean? 10 years, but maybe more likely 5. You got Zimmerman walking, you know what I mean? And in America, it was about the injustice of how a lot of cops, yeah, were beating up black people, shooting black people, killing black people, yeah, and because they were a cop and they said so, right? And they would say, and as Americans would say, because I'm white and I say so, yeah, they get away with this. Almost scot-free. I'm not saying absolutely scot-free, but very, very lightly, yeah? They might get a tap on the wrist, or they get a chance to resign, or, oh, I'm going to quit my job first and then I can just go and live on the beach somewhere with my pension money or whatever, after they've just killed someone for absolutely no reason, or what I would call a minor infraction, right? So that is the essence, yeah, of Black Lives Matter. Now, Black Lives Matter, the organization now, yeah, which is run by, or which has the face of, I won't say run by, let's get that right, which has the face of these 3 black women, yeah, this is nothing to do with that. I don't know what their agenda is and what they're on, but I honestly believe that they're being compromised, yeah? And I can say that because, and I can say that quite confidently as well, one of my words is, because it ain't no big secret, yeah, that some black people, that in order to get to that position, or in order to have power, or what they perceive as power, they haven't got no qualms about throwing black people under the bus for that, yeah, because as long as they get what they want, right? And I suppose every group has it, but I'm just talking about black people for this minute, yeah, right? So for Black Lives Matter, the movement to be compromised, to me, wouldn't be that hard, because once you infiltrate, just like in warfare, once you can infiltrate your enemy or you can infiltrate a powerful group, then you can manipulate, and then you can make that very same group practice your agenda. Yeah. And for me, I think that what's happened over the years, and like especially from seeing what I'm seeing now with the whole protesting thing, is that Black Lives Matter, the organization, yeah, somewhere along the line has been compromised. Whether it's by Antifa or whether it's by some political party in the background, there's someone in the background doing some shady shit, right? And I say that because let's look at the last protest, yeah? You've got, sorry, let me stop there for a second. Looking at the last protest, yeah, you have white people driving around in cars, handing out bricks to black people.
Bitch, don't give no group of black men no brick that don't do nothing, alright? Push the fuck up. Go home.
Yeah, you've got evidence of people finding pallets of bricks just found on the corner.
Piles of bricks and rocks showing up, as you said, near the various protest sites in cities like New York, Kansas City, Dallas, Fayetteville, North Carolina. And none of the sites are near construction areas, leaving many to assume the bricks were planted by outside agitators specifically to stir up trouble.
This right here?
Yeah, they put them there.
This the setup.
They put them there on purpose,
Y'all know where we at.
They gonna set them hoes right up on the route of.
Y'all know what building this is right here. I ain't even gonna say what name it is.
You've got white protesters writing on the walls, Black Lives Matter, yeah, in their balaclavas and all of these things here. You've got all of these different groups committing crimes or committing atrocities, and I won't say crime, atrocities, yeah, under the banner of Black Lives Matter, right? But they're not Black Lives Matter.
It says something when you're at a Black Lives Matter protest, you have more minorities on the police side than you have in a violent crowd, and you have white people screaming at black officers. You have the biggest nose I've ever seen. I got to see folks that really do want change, like the rest of us, that have been impacted by racism. And then I got to see those people get faded out by people that have no idea what racism is all about, never experienced racism, that don't even know that the tactics that they are using are the same tactics that were used against my people. And they don't even know they don't even know the history. They don't know what they're saying. Coming from someone who graduated from PSU with a history degree, it's actually frightening on how, you know, they say if you don't know your history, you repeat it, and watching people do that to other people just because of what they decide to do with their life.
What are some of those interactions that you're...
So a lot of times someone of color, black, Hispanic, Asian, come up to the fence and directly want to talk to me. Hey, what do you think about George Floyd? What do you think about what happened about this? I go up to the fence, someone white comes up, F the police, don't talk to him. That was the most bizarre thing because I could see it coming. I even had a young African American girl tell me, why is it you guys aren't talking to us? I said, honestly, this is now the 23rd day of doing it. Every time I try to have a conversation with someone that looks like me, someone white comes up and blocks them and tells them not to talk. And then right when I said that, this white girl popped right in front of her and she said, he just said that was going to happen. I said, told you. I told you. And she looked at the girl and said, why did you do that? And I straight up, I said, you know, I've been called the N-word. She's been called the N-word. Why are you talking to me this way? Why do you feel that she can't speak for herself to me? Why is it that you feel you need to speak for her when we're having a conversation? And she couldn't answer my question. All she said was, someone told me to do it.
And for me, that is the whole compromise thing. Yeah, because what you're finding now is that, or how I see it, should I say, is that these organizations, these other people, these puppet masters or these ghosts, yeah, that are pulling strings, right? They're taking advantage of black people's genuine plight in order to cause chaos and mayhem in which black people will end up taking the blame for. If you know what I'm saying, you know where I'm coming from, right? They can come in, cause mayhem, and then bounce, yeah? And when all the dust settles and it's all kind of calmed down and people are talking about it in their chat shows and on the TV, oh, Black Lives Matter, that was a whole, black people this. Black people will just end up with their name on it and being the face of it when a lot of the chaos was not caused by them. And I'll give you an example of this with the recent situation with the statue that went up in Bristol, right? Now, the statue was of a black woman pumping her fist. Yeah, everyone's seen that. And what a lot of people overlook is that the statue was made by a guy called Mark Quinn. And Mark Quinn and his team, they put up the statue and they funded it. And it was actually his idea. He's an artist and he wanted to make a statement. And so I'm not kind of like bagging on him for doing what he wanted to do or doing what he felt was the right thing to do in order to show solidarity. Right? However, because Jen Reed, yeah, is the statue, and last one, she's the one that's taking all the heat for it. You know what I'm saying? She's the one that's getting all the flack. And when the statue comes down, and when the statue came down, and everyone's like, kind of like, okay, cool, yeah, it's always going to be remembered as, you see those black people? They are the ones who are doing all the disruptiveness. They're the ones causing all the issues and all the problems. Yeah? But Jen Reed, she never put the statue up there. She never bought it. It wasn't her idea. She was just the face of it. And for me, that's an example of like the way that infiltration works and how, like I said, with Black Lives Matter the organization being compromised, yeah, you've got the 3 black women who are the face of it, right? But somewhere behind the scenes, there is an organization out there, but we don't know who they are. They're ghost people. That's how they manage to do it, in which all of the things that are happening with all the violence and the looting. I'm not saying that black people weren't looting or nothing like that there, but there were just as many white people looting out there as anybody else, right? But what I'm trying to say is that the way that when all the dust was settled and everything, when all the protesters and people have kind of like learnt something, not learnt something, whatever, at the end of the day, black people are always going to be left holding the bag, yeah, or taking the heat, right? So for me, almost Black Lives Matter, the organization, is almost doing just as much harm as they are doing good, right? But I'm kind of like digressing now anyway, still. But yeah, so Black Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter, yes, there is a true, genuine concern for, or essence to the protest, yeah? So when you see people like Lewis Hamilton or Joshua Anthony and Dizzy Rascal and other well-to-do black people who are standing up for Black Lives Matter, they're standing up for the essence, yeah? They couldn't give a monkeys about, I'm not saying they couldn't give a monkeys, but their interest or their agenda is nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, the organization that has an agenda for themselves. All that defunding the police and all that. No, we ain't thinking about that. We ain't on that. Or I should say, I and many other black people like myself are not on that. That's nothing to do with us, right? And speaking of Lewis Hamilton, yeah, and Anthony Joshua, right? Stop comparing their success to the plight of black people, yeah. Because it kind of like does my head in when I've seen a lot of comments, right? How a lot of nationalists, yeah, will come out and say black people are not oppressed or black people don't face atrocities and everyone's equal. And their claim for this or their reason for this is because Lewis Hamilton or Anthony Joshua, they're successful, they're millionaires and they're rich and they're doing well for themselves. So how is it black people are being oppressed if they're doing so well? And that makes no sense to me, because that's like saying that, how could I put it? That's like saying, well, you know what, right? The person who's living a paycheck to paycheck, yeah, maybe working on the NHS or has a low-paying job, who's living just trying to get through life, right? They have no right to feel that they're being exploited through their boss or through their manager or for whatever company they work for, or whatever corporate company is making them work XYZ hours for no extra pay and want them to do XYZ and not do or they'll lose their job, whatever. They have no right to say anything because Richard Branson's rich. Oh, Richard Branson's doing all right for himself, isn't he? Yeah. So therefore, all you people on the 9-to-5s and whatever being exploited don't exist. There is no such thing as you being exploited because Richard Branson's doing fine. Yeah? Makes no sense. So, no, stop that. But again, I'm digressing again, yeah? But anyway, Black Lives Matter. So, in a nutshell, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, the organisation, has nothing to do with the essence of what black people truly feel and what they're protesting about in these times. I'm out. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.
Yes. Am I? Yes. Am I? Yes.